Brawl Stars has been out for over 7 years, and the game is just getting bigger and bigger, which is extremely impressive in the gaming world where most games don't make it past a few years. But this also raises the question of just how much longer can they go on for? I mean, surely they can't just keep on adding new brawlers forever, it has to end at some point. Well, today we'll be going over this issue and all the different factors involved, so let's get right into it. The first issue we're going to be talking about is just the overall number of brawlers in the game, since that is really the main thing when it comes to new content. Currently, there are 84 brawlers inside of Brawl Stars, and that is quite a big difference from the 15 that existed when Brawl Stars first came out. This means that we have been getting about 9 to 10 brawlers every year on average, meaning we'll be at 100 brawlers in about a year and a half, which is just crazy to think about, and the number will be around 135 when the game is 12 years old, which is about how old Clash of Clans and Heyday are, and those are two really successful Supercell games that really made the company initially blow up. So something we really need to consider is just how the future of the game is going to work when it comes to brawler releases, since that is probably the biggest problem there is right now. In my personal opinion, I definitely do think that having something like 130 brawlers will be way too many brawlers, and there will be just too much going on within the game, especially if we hit that number in just the next few years. The number of brawlers will realistically only keep on going higher unless Supercell decides to delete brawlers to make up space. However, I just think that would be a horrible idea, and I doubt that they would ever actually do that. But one of the problems with having so many brawlers is really with just making skins for all of them, since those are a pretty big part of the game. And this just brings some problems because it gets complicated when there are a lot of brawlers. If Supercell kept up the same pace of releasing skins, then it could just take ages for each brawler to get a couple of skins, and that could make people upset as it would just feel like skins were coming out more slowly just because they were getting distributed to a lot more brawlers. But on the other hand, if Supercell tries to scale up with making more skins for the brawlers, then there is a risk for there just being too many skins and them coming out too fast to the point where they just don't feel as special and where they lose their value. So this is definitely a problem to consider, and it's just going to get worse and worse, and Supercell needs to try and find a nice middle ground or possibly some other system in order to make this not a big problem. But another problem with having a lot of brawlers is just with the rarities, and I have already talked about rarities a bunch in other videos and some of their specific problems, so I'm not going to bother talking about it again in this video. However, I do want to mention a possible solution, which would be to just remove the brawler rarities. This way the whole rarity issue could be gone, and instead brawlers could just be sorted by their class, and that would actually work out, and it would be pretty future proof in my opinion. Obviously this will require a big rework and changes to just the whole progression system and how brawlers are unlocked, since that heavily relies on the rarities. But if a solution can be found to that stuff, then I definitely do think that this could be great for the future of the game, and it would just help out the longevity. So overall, one big problem that exists within the game is just the issue of there being too many brawlers in the future, and that could definitely threaten the longevity of the game. And this also brings us to the question of how this could become less of a problem, and maybe even at what point brawlers should stop being added into the game. So I think the obvious thing to do would be to just slow down the release rate of new brawlers and just stretch them out to last longer. This would help build up hype and make every release feel even more special, though right now the brawler releases are some of the most special and exciting things in the game. I think that they should definitely start slowing down around the 100 brawler mark, since the game is going really strong right now and it doesn't make sense to slow down. But in about a year or two, I definitely think that should be a strong consideration, where they just start releasing brawlers at maybe like half the pace, where it's one brawler at a time instead of two. But anyways, another factor to consider when looking at how much longer the game can go on for is just with competition, since that obviously plays a big role with pretty much anything in life. Honestly, right now, there seems to be virtually no competition when it comes to Brawl Stars, just because this game is so different. When you think of similar games to Brawl Stars, you would think of something like Overwatch, or maybe even Counter-Strike, or perhaps some Roblox game. Now, these are all similar games for different reasons, however they kind of represent Brawl Stars. But these games are all just so different, and the thing that makes Brawl Stars unique is that it combines so many elements from so many games to essentially create a single game that is is just jam-packed with stuff, and it is also easily accessible because it is a mobile game and you don't need a computer like you do with Overwatch. But anyways, there is pretty much no competition for Brawl Stars when it comes to mobile games other than just unoriginal ripoffs, but those can't really be counted as competition anyways. This basically means that Brawl Stars is the best game in the genre and there isn't much else that comes close, which means people basically don't have a choice other than playing Brawl Stars. This will make it really hard for the game to die, and there definitely would need to be some strong competition in order for the game to actually be in danger of falling off. Either that or the devs would need to make a bunch of bad decisions in order to get people to just stop playing the game. However, I really do doubt that will happen. So if we just look at it from this factor, then Brawl Stars could technically just keep on going forever, as there really is no other option for people to switch to. But another factor to look at is just with Supercell as a company and how they are doing, since they are the ones obviously running this game, and it is important for the company to be doing well in order for the game to continue running. Right now the company seems to be doing alright, though they definitely do have some security issues, mainly with Clash of Clans and the whole account stealing problem that exists there. But as long as they don't let that spread over to Brawl Stars, I think the game will be alright. And outside of that problem, there really doesn't seem to be too much else bad stuff going on with the company, unless you count Clash Royale. However, that is more specifically the dev team over there, so I hope that Brawl Stars will be safe from whatever is happening at Clash Royale, and we can hope that Brawl Stars doesn't end up like that game in the future. But the final factor for the longevity of Brawl Stars is really with just how much more innovation can be done with the game, since it is important for new stuff to be in the game to help keep it fresh. Right now, it seems like they have done a ton of the popular game modes from other games, and it seems like there can't be too much more innovation for that aspect of the game unless the devs just start coming up with their own ideas, which could be pretty cool. But with the game modes, I really have no clue how many more new ones can be added to the game, but I do hope that we keep on getting new and interesting game modes. However, it is inevitable that they will run out of good game modes for Brawl Stars at some point, though in that case we should hopefully be fine as the game modes rotate, so it may feel new each time, and that stuff is being done pretty well even today, which is definitely good for the game. Another thing to consider is that Brawl Stars does seem to be just doing really cool events and collaborations, as we saw with Godzilla a bit ago, and now we have the SpongeBob collab, which is honestly just really cool. A big thing for the game can really just be collabs, and there are so many collabs that they could do in the future, so that definitely is good for the future of the game and definitely increases its longevity, as these collabs do bring in a lot of players. So there is plenty of room for innovation and new stuff when it comes to the seasons in Brawl Stars, and that hopefully means we will see many more seasons in the game. And overall, it does seem like the game just has a lot of longevity left, as the game is doing the best it ever has right now, and there is just so much room for improvement and growth. There are definitely some key issues that need to be taken care of, but I have no doubt that the devs will be able to figure that out. But that's also it for this video. I really do hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.